what if, instead of being divided onto different teams, every single Total Drama contestant had to fight it for themselves? No teams to align them, no boundaries. It is a free-for-all, and everyone will have to make a decision to try and survive in this game. And I feel like beginning in the early, every little thing you do might get you targeted. Go ahead and comment down one person that you want to win this game, that you think because there are no teams, they will make it farther. For example, Ezekiel, since there aren't teams, there's no reason for him to say what got him out. So I think that will be able to put him under the radar. So here is how it's going to work. For the first couple challenges, the winner of the challenge will be able to select 2 others along with them to be safe. Everyone else must go to the campfire ceremony. This will end at some point periodically. The challenges will act as regular singular immunity challenges. I will try and twist them into ways that way it can be possible. And if it's not possible, it will be a purge challenge, which means the one to do the worst, or the one to like fail the fumble, is out instead of a vote. But I'll try not to do those too much because those are a cop out. And honestly, the first challenge, you have to build something, you have to do a lot of strength, and you have to swim. And honestly, it's between Eva and Izzy, but I'm going to give it to Izzy mainly on the building portion. She is very smart. A lot of y'all might not recognize this, but Heather was very closely aligned with Izzy and Island. Heather was all in Izzy's ear in the background, and y'all may have not noticed it, but if you watch and you look in the background, they are always talking. Izzy is always hyped to do whatever Heather has to say. Izzy is secretly plotting, bro. She always been plotting, but they don't focus the story on her. You have to see her plot. Owen and Izzy haven't really started to go into a relationship that much yet. However, I still feel like he'd be like one of the front runners for her to pick to be safe. So I do feel like it would be Heather and Owen. And for those who didn't jump, I actually feel like it'd be almost a bonus on their part. And there's a lot of people who didn't jump, and it probably gave them like a challenge disadvantage time-wise. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put everyone I believe have no chance of going home in the first episode for no reason up there. Alright, so basically it comes down to these 5. 4 of them because of their attitude. And I feel like Harold might get a couple votes tossed his way. Courtney and Harold, I'm gonna go ahead and give you to the pass. And barely along with Duncan. So it kind of comes down to Eva because she did get second. And a lot of people are afraid of her strengths. And I feel like Heather would definitely go around, reminding people of that. And Noah just isn't really that friendly to people right now. But unfortunately, Eva, I do believe you are the first one out of the game, and you are so mad about that. I would love for her to be on TDA instead of some of the other people who got TDA, but for TDI, I'm sorry, but in this fashion, you're clapped. Alright, the big sleep. We already know the answer to this, because the only differentiating factor could be either like Ezekiel could maybe outlast Gwen, and I do think he would give her a run for her money, but I think Gwen got this, bro. Henrietta from South Park, that she grown up, bro. Gwen obviously chooses Trent to be safe with her, and I feel like she would also choose Lashana. Yeah, this would be a good 3 for the safety. Alright, once again, I'm gonna move everyone who I think has no chance of going home over here. Alright, so there are a couple more options this time. Katie and Sadie, considering they are a pair coming into this game, people will start side-eyeing that, and one of them might even get like a stray vote. But as of right now, I don't think they're getting out. Noah, Harold, kind of for the same reasons, along with Heather, but I feel like Heather might start an alliance with Lindsay and Beth. And since it's a free-for-all, it would make a little sense to also add Tyler in there, since it's, with Lindsay, and that's another number. She might also get Sadie and Katie, and Owen is an easy grab. Not to mention Justin, Duncan, Ezekiel, Izzy. I think Heather for right now is fooling some people, because keep in mind, this is a fresh start. She got a little bit of tomfoolery to do. She can still trick people. They don't know her yet. Izzy, you won last time, and you chose, to bring Heather, but I don't think you're out here. Ezekiel, you need to make more friends. The only people I think you're talking to are Owen, Cody, Harold, and you know what? Maybe Beth. What if, Ezekiel lasts in Island long enough where he and Beth actually might have a little bit of a relationship? I know that's weird to say, and that's a little bit odd to look at, but look at them. They could be something. He says, not how the ice cream looks, it's about the flavor.
forever.
I'm like, Ezekiel, stop talking like that. Harold, Duncan, go ahead. And Justin, because you cheated and you don't talk, you just have looks, you know, even up to this point, I think you are the main person to be targeted. Dodgeball. There are actually a couple people who could win like a Hunger Games style dodgeball thing. You could have a shield and then like a backpack full of like, you know, 4 or 5 dodgeballs. And if you get hit even once, you gotta lay down with like, you know, a red flag or something. And here, let me do my top 5 on the forefront to win this challenge. Bam, right there. Duncan, Harold, Cody, Owen, and Katie. All of them actually really popped off in dodgeball. And Harold is a great dodger, and I think he is going to Final 5, but Harold dodging isn't enough, and I for sure feel Duncan would blast you. Owen, you are super big body. There's no way no one hits you. Cody and Katie, I think it would make sense for both of them to blast Duncan at the same time. And you know what? I'm gonna give this to Katie, because Katie and Sadie never really get developments in my video, and especially Katie. I think her winning this challenge would show like a really good spotlight on the duo. She obviously chooses Sadie as one of them, and it makes it a little obvious they're working together, but then they proceed to choose Heather. Isn't that son? Now Noah, he is known as the schemer. I don't know if y'all have ever noticed that for like the official Total Drama, but he's known as the schemer. I feel like if he got farther, he might be able to actually scheme. However, his problem is he just reads. He doesn't have a team, and I bet he thinks to himself if he just skates on by, no one will target him. Alright, I would say these 7 are up for elimination. Owen, Duncan, mainly because you two did very well. And Owen, you are stinky. Oh, nasty booty. And Noah, I feel like he might actually start telling people like, hey, you might gotta watch out for Izzy and them, Heather and them. Jeff and Bridget obviously like each other. Gwen and Trent obviously like each other. Cody trying to get with Gwen. Lindsay likes Tyler. Duncan, you know, and Courtney kind of doing that little bull flirting thing. And don't get me started on Katie and say there's so much pairs you gotta watch out for. I think him saying this might get him clapped. So this one is gonna have to stay canon to Noah. Actually, hold on, let me rewind that. This might be one of the very few Mystic rewinds. Because Tyler, I feel like he was hitting everyone and the coconuts, and that peed everyone off, but Duncan was just rushing people. I feel like Duncan may have even gotten a posse with him, like Jeff, DJ, Owen, and Trent, and I feel like they did the rush the new guy thing on people, like they had a little Tunnel Snakes alliance. So you know what? I'm gonna save Noah, and I'm gonna get out Duncan, because he is super rude. Harold, I do feel like a few people might have his back to get out Duncan, and if Heather found out, you know, how influential Duncan's opinion and word meant to people, Heather might actually get him out because of that, or at least try to influence that way. Now, not quite famous, this one, I guess everyone would do a talent and the best one wins, but oh brother, I feel like watching every single one of these bozos do a talent is gonna be like watching Fame or Shame on the GTA like radio, or the little TV thing with the Laszlo on there dancing and stuff. You know what? I'ma still give Harold his moment. Beatboxing God, he does that thing. Now, I don't know if at this point he started to get feelings for LaShawn. I think he might have started to feel a little son. So I feel like if he did start feel a little son, and he could put some game on, you know, like smack that down, no CD. I feel like he'd be like, hey LaShawn, let me show you how God treats you. Like, come up to first class luxury, you feel me? Puts her on safe mode. And I know in Action and World Tour it might not seem like it, but in Island, Ezekiel and Harold actually got along really well. I think Ezekiel might actually be one of Harold's like closest friends in this game. They might talk and strategize and whatnot. So I think Ezekiel could be the third one chosen to be safe. But I won't even lie to you, I already know who's getting eliminated, and it's for a very obvious reason. Like, Bridget, you can't be throwing up on people and breaking people's stuff and, you know, the camera equipment, expect not to get eliminated. They're for sure gonna target you, Bridget. I'm sorry. The sucky outdoors, I feel like everyone will have to go into the woods. They can team up or not, it don't really matter. Go to a campsite and then come back. The last person to come back is eliminated entirely from the competition. And I know a lot of y'all are expecting it to be Sadie or Katie because that's easy considering how much trouble they had, but I feel like a lot more people would have a lot more trouble. Here, the people I know would make it on time. Bam, they're on top. Congratulations, y'all made it to the next next episode. Everyone else, you are definitely up for debate. Matter of fact, I think this is the perfect time to get Owen out, because he could have like his whole entire bear thing where he told everyone he hunted a bear with his grandpa, and now he has to like put his money where his mouth is, and then he sleepwalk. He has an entire adventure. This would be like the perfect interception to get him out, because if it's not now, it's definitely going to be later. There's only so much Owen people could handle. If they know at any point, they could just get rid of him. Phobia factor. I know we just did a purge, but this one also just kind of makes sense for it to be a purge. Like, last one to get over their fear is eliminated. That's just simple. Katie, Noah, Ezekiel, I don't really know what y'all fears would be, but I feel like Katie and Sadie probably have the exact same fear, which means we could have like room for Lindsay to get a new fear. That way she doesn't got cop Sadie's. Noah, I feel like whatever your fear is, it's pretty rational, so you might actually be like a front runner to get eliminated. Ezekiel, I feel like your fears probably sound stupid and you can get over it. Dang, one of these 6 about to go. That's crazy terrible to see. Courtney, come on, bro. It's just some jello. You know what, Noah? You came into total drama talking about all your life-threatening allergies, this, that. This seems like a challenge you would definitely probably get eliminated on. All right, the next challenge, regardless of what happens, you know, I'm gonna say Izzy wins immunity, and then Izzy gets eliminated because of the RCMP or whatever. She got done dirty, she got clapped. Paintball deer hunt. Everyone is dressed up as deer and everyone has a paintball gun. Now this really is Battle Royale Hunger Game. If you get shot, you obviously have a bright neon thing all over you, paint splattered all over you, you're out. Now being able to shoot is a lot different than dodgeball, because anyone can up the Ruger, but not everyone can pitch a baseball, know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna say the top 5 are Harold, Lashana, Courtney, Beth, and Ezekiel. I just think it'd be funny if, you know, canonly Ezekiel knows how to shoot a gun. He knows how to make that thing a rat-ta-ta-ta, he can pull up. And I'm a little tempted to give it to Beth, considering she was actually kind of good at shooting that thing, but I'm gonna give it to Ezekiel. Giving him character development that he, you know, was robbed of, and I think making him be able to like blast the most people is funny. And he's just running through the woods, bro. He blasts, you know, like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatball, the scene where Flint goes into house, blasts the entire family with ice cream. That's exactly what Zeke did. Even to Chris and Chef, they weren't safe, and for safety he chooses Beth, and because Beth begged, kind of Lindsay, even though he really wanted to save his boy Harold. Now I do think Heather is starting to get annoyed with the fact that Gwen has, you know, Trent swooning, Cody swooning. She's also annoyed at the fact of Tyler and Lindsay. It's kind of up to one of these 5 to go, but I'ma say this is probably the episode where Heather decides, you know, she wants to make a move on Trent, and maybe even does the whole kissing thing early. Alright, if you can't take the heat, this one could be a very fun challenge. Everyone just kind of makes a signature dish and the best one wins. It's as simple as that. And they kind of did this in my Hell's Kitchen series, in which Ezekiel and Lashana were the final 2. But you know what? This time, since I think Lashana can do her own moves, she can be in her own kitchen, cook her own food. Actually, I don't know, because DJ has that mom. Nah, I gotta give it to DJ. I'm sorry, Lashana. You were last second robbed because of lore. DJ, you for sure got that. That was some delicious food you just made. I'm talking 10 out of 10 cuisine. Instant Michelin star. It was delicious, slapping, bro. And I feel like for plot, you know, armor reasons, I feel like Heather is able to threaten DJ to save her, but his second person to save is genuinely his choice, and I do believe it'd be Jeff. Now I feel like Heather wanted, you know, to make sure she was safe, because she's gonna do something. What she did is she took Beth's like little cursed tiki doll thing and she planted it on Gwen, because Beth has started to become very, you know, quote unquote not obedient to Heather. So I feel like Gwen's like, whoa, isn't this one of the cursed things from the island? Or maybe even Chris points it out, and Beth is like, huh, that's mine. And Gwen's like, why do I have it? So people might think that Beth did it on purpose, and you know, Heather just did Beth dirty. I'm sorry, Beth. All right, who can you trust is a very odd one to make into like a singular thing, but you know what, I'm gonna just say it's like an obstacle course. First one to make on the other side, you know, they got shoot apples, they gotta do you know, the course, just do everything in the challenge but by themselves. themselves. And you know what? I'm gonna actually give this one to Tyler. I think if it's endurance and running, it's hard to mess up running, which I know he can do, trust me. But I do want to toss him a bone, and you know, since it is like a marathon type of challenge, it would be nice if he won it. He obviously saves Lindsay, and as you might have guessed, Heather was also saved. And Ezekiel, as much as I want to give you plot armor, when you look at every person here and you see like the cross dynamic relationships, Ezekiel, you are talking to Harold and Cody, but I feel like everyone else would for sure not mind writing your name down. You're just not that relatable, and you're a little socially awkward. Just because I like you don't mean everyone else do. Alright, I love the fact that Harold is able to crash out and rig the votes. But instead of him doing it, I think it would be Courtney. And I'm not sure how they would do it plot-wise, but I would love it if Courtney did it against Gwen. Because Courtney rigging the votes against Gwen, I think would be like a huge plot thing. And now Courtney doesn't have a reason to sue to get in TDA. Alright, this is the last one before merge. Everyone would love to get in merge. This is the extreme torture challenge. You gotta do another like almost triathlon to get safety again. Jeff, you know what? I think you have it. You invite your boys Tyler and DJ, and how Harold got karma, you know, by instantly getting out because he rigged the votes. Now it's gonna be Courtney's karma. So that entire little dumb plot that we just had, it's over. Y'all can forget about it now. Let's move on. A goofy little merge. But this is no longer about to be the top 10. This is about to be the top 12. Two people are coming back, and those two are Duncan, making a surprise return to this game, and Izzy. You know we gotta add Izzy back. She swung on here in her jungle type beat. No pain, no gain. I think Duncan is very much trying to target Harold. And you know what, Duncan, I say that you win that first challenge. You immediately want immunity. You cannot be booted off. And I feel like he chooses Heather and Jeff to be safe along with him. And I'm so sorry, Harold. Duncan gotta be your downfall. Basically, almost all the girls are kind of working together and plotting besides Lashana. And I think the guys might pick up on this and definitely form an alliance. Search and do not destroy. This one was mega plot armor for Heather, so I definitely think it's going to be so again. And she decides to save Duncan and Izzy, the returnees, you know, trying to make amends, have some more people on her back, or on her side, should I say. And Lashana, it sucks you go this way, because I know that they're probably gonna target you. Because keep in mind, at this point, they definitely still think it's jury. But at the same time, it's a lot better how you go canonly. So, alt universe as you will. Alright, we are now back at the final 10. Basically, Izzy, Duncan, you just booted these two to take their place. Hide and be sneaky. Lashana, it sucks you just got out, because this would have definitely been your challenge. But you know what? Instead, I'm gonna give it to Cody. I feel like Cody could be like the god of hide and seek if he was on this episode. And I feel like he saves Tyler and Lindsay. And I won't even lie, the votes are for sure being pointed towards Heather, Izzy, or Duncan. And because of the guys' little alliance right now, and I think Tyler might be able to sway Lindsay. Izzy, I'm sorry, RIP. You did pretty good returning as you did. That's off the chain. This is the bike race where Heather duped Lindsay so bad, and that one was legitimately a purge round. And I would like to think, instead of Lindsay, what if she kind of used like Katie and Sadie as shields, you know, going, you know, through the bike. They both like hitting people, knocking them off, and all three of them make it. Everyone else is DQ'd except Heather, Sadie, and Katie. But Katie was the last one to make it. And so when Heather's like, you know, I didn't really like you two. Both of you were extremely annoying. You need to talk less. I don't know how you're best friends. Wait, yeah, I do, because no one else would be. I think if both of them were to start tearing into Heather, flipping her off, just roasting, I'm talking nothing but the censored bleep sound, it would be amazing. I'm so sorry, Katie. Hook, line, and screamer. Alright, I know I think I said this in a previous previous video, and I know this is supposed to be the episode where DJ gets out because it's supposed to be like the worst survivor or something like that. But Lindsay, Sadie, Cody, and Tyler are all still here, and I believe they all are definitely, you know, like up for debate to be much more scared than DJ is. And I think this would be like a perfect, hilarious moment for Tyler. You know how like Owen pushed Izzy in front of the killer? Tyler could push Lindsay in front of the killer. And I think instead of DJ going home, this would be like a Tyler episode. This definitely feels like Tyler-esque. Alright, Wawanaka Go Wild. This is an animal hunting challenge. Gwen won this one, but she's obviously not here. So, you know, to be real, I'm gonna give it to DJ. And now he's only allowed to save one person. And I feel like that one real one would be Jeff. And DJ might actually get very angry because there could be a plot where he sees how Duncan treats animals or something. DJ does not mess with that at all. And I feel like, you know, there's definitely some people willing to vote Duncan out right now. RIP. You know, you came back, you did great. But now we have the final 6. And this was the episode Jeff was voted out due to him being so extremely likable. And there could be an argument between DJ and Lindsay being more likable than him and then being targeted. But I feel like there's definitely arguments why they would still choose Jeff to be out over. So I'm sorry, that is how it is. And we all know how the final 5 goes down. And instead of, you know, like, oh, Lashana, it's gonna be, oh, Lindsay. And I hate that it has to be that way, but that's exactly how I see it going. Lindsay always goes out in the stupidest of ways. It's a very goofy bunch, but we have the final 4. Chef gets to choose who he gets to eliminate, and I feel like he's just so extremely disappointed in DJ. The shame in him, he has to eliminate DJ. And honestly, Chef, you're an L for that one, which means we have the final 3. It's you already know what it is, bro. Oh my god, I can't believe I actually went through with it. Yes, sir. Let me know in the comments who your winner is, who your alt winner is. Hey, they both put in work, and they both had a definite storyline in this, especially if it was like full elaborative episodes. But just keep in mind, at the end of the day, everything is my opinion. Thank you guys so much for watching this. I appreciate every single one of you. Yeah, like, yes, you'll really appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe to my second channel, Leaf Lord, and I dare every single one of you to have a good day.